right, today I want to talk about a lesson that I have learned on the spiritual path when it comes to New Age spirituality, the concepts of manifestation, and something that I fell into that I think is being extremely misguided in this area. And I want to share this with you because I know a lot of friends that have experienced the same thing. And okay, let's get into it. So, one of the first books that I read was, what's that book called? The Law of Attraction book, The Secret. That was one of the first books I read, and I'm like, oh, I just have to think my way into all that I desire. Now, I understand the concept here. I understand the significance of catching your thoughts when they're opposing your desires and noticing that and having that awareness. Yet, as a culture, we are so up here in our head. We are shifted. Our energy, our awareness is so shifted into our head that our truest pathway to aligned manifestation is shifting into our body. Again, instead of thinking, it's shifting into feeling. When we're thinking, our mind is a tool. It's not meant to be used in every moment. It is a tool for problem solving. So when we're spending our time in our mind is going to search out problems to solve because that's the mechanics of how it works. That's its function for us. So this looks like thinking in the past or in the future. Now, again, it's a great tool to call upon to, hey, how do I get this done? Hey, how do I problem solve this? Yet there's other cultures that when they've been told, oh, we solve things with our mind, they don't comprehend it because they move based off their gut intuition. They move forward based off their body. I say all this to say that myself, alongside so many others, have fallen into, I don't want to say trap, but I'm going to say trap, have fallen into the trap of, if you want to manifest your desired reality, you have to speak only what is in alignment with that. You have to think only what is in alignment with that. You have to feel only what is in alignment with that. Yet, oftentimes, we are doing that, out of fear, and we're also forcing an emotion, a thought, a feeling, whatever. So, if you look at it on a deeper level, what you're actually calling in is more friction. You're calling in that energy of something not being right. You're calling in that energy of, I have to be different. I have to be more. I have to speak differently. Now, again, there is so much significance within the awareness of, hey, the words that are coming out of my mouth are signaling to my brain things that aren't in my highest desire. Like if you're noticing, hey, there's these patterns that are pretty deep. I keep speaking words that are not in alignment with my highest desire. Yeah, that awareness is huge, and having a shift there, I fully believe in that. There's definitely wisdom within these teachings. Yet, when we hyper focus on that, and we're doing that out of control, out of fear, out of lack, out of trying to force a different reality, a manifestation, again, we are just calling in that forced, friction, fear-filled energy, that exact energy that we're moving from when we're doing it, right? So shifting out of this is, like I said, shifting into our body. And it's, yes, so much of it is feeling, but it's also giving the little kid in you, like, y'all, I used to think inner child work was bullshit. I used to hear that term and I'm like, that's just not real. I've realized it very much is real because 6-year-old me is still the one running the show. Like, she's the one whose subconscious was wired and is still wired inside of me. So when I think of the concept of just like that, the law of attraction, The Secret, there's a difference between having fear at your core and then trying to control above it, trying to control your words. Sorry, my phone's getting warm. It's like 90 degrees in the heat. There's a difference between, again, fear being at the core and then us moving from that fear, trying to say all the time, oh, I'm rich, oh, I'm in love, oh, my soulmate's here, da da da. Like, I used to always say, oh, you can only speak in present tense. Like, I already have that mansion. I already am in love. My body knows that that's fucking not true. Like, my body's not stupid. My nervous system is still saying, nah, dude, that's not reality. Like, that's actually not real. So I'm not shifting anything. I'm just creating more friction and more force or more chaos inside my body because my body's like, you're not listening to me. You're not listening to how I feel and how I want to express myself. Now, think about, what are we actually wanting to manifest? If I had to choose one fucking word for all that I'm trying to call into my life, my word would be freedom. Okay? Now, what does freedom look like in this moment? Freedom looks like me expressing myself. Now, again, there's a difference between being reactive and continuing patterns from an unconscious state. So that may look like me getting into arguments, the same arguments with people, me getting road rage, like all of those things. When you feel the reactivity taking over you in the moment, that's when the awareness is super powerful. So what I'm speaking of is expressing ourselves in a safe container, expressing ourselves with intention. And it doesn't need to be like this whole written out intention. It's just, what does the little kid in you want to say, want to do? What noises does it fucking want to make? So for me, I used to be so big on only speaking positive things, on only writing in my journal positive things. And you know what? Every fucking time I did that, I was pushing down all that I was actually feeling. All of the frustration, all of the anger, all of the pain. I was pushing that all down. And listen, two things can be true at once, okay? So just like I said, at your core, you can have fear and then move from that fear and try to like control your manifestation. I used to move from that. Now at my core, I have such a deep knowing. I have such a fucking deep knowing that my life, all that I am calling in, all that I am able to help this world with, all the things, everything in my reality and my own being, I know that it's inevitable, that it is more beautiful, more healing, more peaceful, more loving, more abundant than I could ever fucking imagine. I know that. Yet, like I said, two things can be true at once. No, fuck that. A million things can be true at once, honestly. I can know that at my core, and I can still be pissed the fuck off that I am at this job. I can still be pissed off that this person is still talking to me like that. Now, again, am I going to be reactive and go into my job and start yelling at people? Am I going to start yelling at this person? Like these, just for example? No, I'm not going to do that. Yet, when it's a safe space, whether I'm by myself or with a trusted human being that I feel completely safe with, I'm going to express myself. Something that has been huge is, this is a little side tangent, but it wraps back around. With my journey with anxiety and chronic pain, I stumbled across on so many levels in the artist way, which is tapping into your creativity through Nicole Sachs and I forgot the other doctor's name, but the book's called Healing Your Back Pain. They're all talking about expressing your anger, expressing your frustration. Get it the fuck out. You transmute it by feeling it. You don't transmute it by pushing it down. And I realized how much that was still there and just getting louder whenever I forced words out of my mouth that were quote unquote positive. Yet again, my body, my subconscious knew that that's not what I felt inside of me. So all of this energy gets trapped in us. That's where my chronic pain comes from. I saw this in a medicine ceremony. There's all this trapped energy inside of us. That's anxiety. That's all of this stuff. We're not releasing it. And I'm so passionate about this because it's like, I even have a friend that I was speaking to recently, and she was like, yeah, I was super into like all the spiritual, but then it was so fucking difficult because I was watching every word that I say. Like, I was just so hard on myself. I was judging everything that was coming out of my mouth. Like, and I felt that so deeply. I felt that so fucking deeply. And again, that's moving from fear, and you're calling more of that in. Where if I just say, listen, even if you don't know, because I said like I have that deep knowing that everything's working out for the highest good. Even if you don't know that right now, just have like 1% amount of faith. That's all you need, is just like the littlest, tiniest, teeniest spark of faith. That is all you need to surrender into this expression, into this freedom. And then once you feel safe to express yourself, that's what you're calling in, is more freedom. And I want to get a little more specific because I feel like I'm speaking kind of abstractly here. So it's like, okay, how do I express myself? Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what are you even talking about? And listen, for me, there's things in my body that literally don't feel good for me to say. Like the word expensive, that literally, I haven't said that word in years. It does not feel aligned in my body. Yet, in the past, I was so, oh my gosh, controlling about me never admitting that the money in my bank account was low, never admitting that I had fears about financial security. And now I'm in a place, because honestly, I still fucking do. Like, I'm at baseline ground level of building my business, of coming into my true essence. And I don't deem that as bad anymore. I say, hey, this pisses me off. This is scary that I don't have financial security right now. And I move this energy out of me. When I get really frustrated, I go to a safe person and I just let it spill. All of this anger, all of this frustration, I let it spill. I cry. I'll go to my journal and just say, fuck this, fuck that. I'll get in my car and just scream to the universe. I'll move my body. I'll make noises, and I let myself feel that frustration. Oh my God, I'm getting like so turned on just thinking about all of this. Like, my body's lighting up, because that's freedom. You move that energy. That's moved out of me then. That's moved out of me, instead of me suppressing it and suppressing and suppressing it. What you resist persists. It's just going to grow. So I create that container of safe space for me to express my frustration. And then when I'm ready, if it's not too forceful, I ground a little bit and I come back. And sometimes this might look like I'm pissed off for a minute, for an hour. Sometimes I'm pissed off for like a fucking month. You know what I mean? Yet I ride that wave. I don't try to push the wave away from me. I ride that bitch. Because That's the flow. That's how you keep going. These emotions aren't bad. That's something too, is like, these emotions aren't bad. When you resist them, they become like so itchy and metallic and like annoying and Yet when we lean into them, we surrender to life. Like, we came here to have a human experience. We came here to feel all of these things. So it's like, it's not bad if we're grieving, if we're feeling anger. Like, that's something too, is I remember when I was really doing this work, oh my gosh, y'all, I remember, because I was a personal trainer, I had my own business, my own clients, and I just remember every fucking session, every second on the way there, every second of my day, I swear to God, I was like, Lauren, think in alignment, be in alignment, be in alignment. And it's like, you can't think your way into feeling into alignment. No, that's not how this works. Again, the mind is so beautiful for awareness and saying, wow, my thoughts are really spiraling right now. Like, I see this. Okay, like, let me drop into my body. What does my body need in this moment? And that's fucking freedom, y'all. That's freedom. And you call in, when you allow yourself to express yourself, to be yourself, to show up the way that you are, when you give yourself the space to grieve, to be pissed off, you are calling in frequencies, energy, scenarios, people that feel safe for you to be yourself with. That is real fucking manifestation. Calling in all that we desired, right? Like, we're manifesting in every second, but it's like, again, going back to me personal training, I remember even when I was doing all this, I was so stuck in my mind, and I would get pissed off at myself if I didn't think perfectly, if I didn't have the perfect energy and the perfect faith in that moment. If I felt any frustration, I would get mad at myself. And talk about what you resist persists. I would try to push down the frustration, and then I'd get more frustrated because like the frustration was there, and then I'd try to like push it down, and then I get more frustrated, and it was like this chaotic like spiral. But once I started really tapping into like my body and my energy and all of that, I had a moment where I felt so sad. I remember being at my client's house, and I was like, what the fuck is this feeling? Like, what is going on? And of course, I was like, push it away. Grieving is bad. Sadness is bad. We can only feel joy, happiness, bliss, da, da, da. And I realized in that moment, it hit me. I was like, fuck, I'm grieving my past self. I'm grieving a version of me that once was. And since that day, it's so funny looking back on, I remember thinking like, oh, this is the only grieving process I'm going to go through with myself. Like, and I was still trying to force it, make it go quickly, because I was like, this is getting in the way of my manifestation. When in reality, it's like, when you're growing, you are constantly grieving yourself. Constantly. And I've learned I'm not going to push this away. This isn't anything bad. Again, if that's coming up, I'm giving myself the space to fucking feel that. Like, I'm finally giving myself the space to feel and to express. Even me just coming on here, like saying these words, I'm not worried about, are these the perfect words? I'm just feeling into the moment and letting it come out. And y'all, it's a frustrating journey, because like, I tried to record a video a couple weeks ago and it was horrid. No words were coming out, and I felt that frustration. I felt that anger. I felt that sadness, that low self-worth, and I let myself fucking feel that. And I'm like, but I know that when I have something to say, when the world wants me to say something, that I'm gonna come on here and I'm gonna fucking say it, and it'll be the perfect timing, the perfect energy, all of it. So again, just to wrap this bitch up, what's my point? My point is, for me and for so many people, it's really slippery slope to get caught in the fucking like TikTok manifestation bullshit, y'all. Of like, do this ritual, write this down 3, 6, 9 times, put this under your pillow, and like, you have to think positively all the time. that's coming from fear, guys. That's coming from fear and trying to keep yourself more constricted, more small, trying to control. We are already so in our mind trying to control everything that it's like, what if we shift into our body and just we allow. And y'all, this has been a journey, because once I started allowing myself to feel, it is like the floodgates fucking open. So I'm not saying that, like, if this is the first time you're hearing about like tapping into your body, which is the world of somatics, right? And feeling and giving yourself the space to do that, giving yourself the space to yell in your car, to speak out loud, to cuss out the world, cuss out anything, like, you know what I mean? It definitely opens the floodgates, and it can be very abruptive as you learn to ride the waves, right? Because it's like, okay, now you're on the surfboard, but like, you just got on the surfboard, you've been like underwater struggling, right, trying to push these waves away, and it's like, okay, now you're on the surfboard, but it's bound that you're learning how to ride this shit. So you're gonna get like pummeled sometimes with a lot of emotions, and it's gonna be like, oh shit, these emotions are scary. Like, I haven't allowed myself to feel this emotion since I was 4 years old, and this shit happened, and I learned that was unsafe. So I was taught not to feel this. My body doesn't feel safe feeling this, but now it's feeling safe feeling that. Like, that's what we're teaching our body, is to be safe. Feel safe being present, feel safe feeling everything. And it's like, that's the aliveness, like, that's the true fucking abundance. I was trying to call in a mansion, a Benz, and listen, I still want myself a nice little Benz, but I understand that the true abundance is feeling life to the fucking fullest. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave that there. That feels completed. Right? Yeah. Okay. Much love to anybody who's listening from the bottom of my heart. Sending so much love to you, so many hugs, smooches, just so much bliss and beauty. Thanks, guys, for listening.